can live with that. My name's Corey. My simple plug up top is I have a podcast called Unpacked, so please subscribe to that wherever you listen to your podcasts. End of plug. We're here today to talk about wrestling. Do we have wrestling fans? No, you don't sound like wrestling fans. Wrestling fans are louder. There we go. All right, we're going to bring some fun people out here first. I want to bring out, oh my God, I love her. I've been chatting with her for like 20 minutes, and I can't wait to continue. Please welcome, sitting directly to my right, excuse me, it's Vickie Guerrero. I love that. I've been watching this guy since I was 17 years old, watching WCW shows, and I'm so honored to share the stage with Chavo Guerrero. Chavo. That was. Hold on. For this next, we've got it.
He's only 19 years old now.
Right. Yeah.
So he's been watching me since 17.
Right.
So
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah. Nitro just went off the air last year. It's fine. It wasn't that long ago. We got to get a chant going for the next one, okay? Can we do that? Lita. Please welcome to the stage, Lita!
Please welcome to our final guest. It's the Kens!
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's always really fun to do these panels and these Comic Cons because our whole careers, we were living life through a screen. And we got to be in your living room, but this was like going to be a disaster. But we didn't ever get to put faces to the people that we got to grow up with. So we get to finally meet you guys and get face to face, but I feel like a lot of times we now live too much of our lives through screens. And I know that it's like pics or it didn't happen. So we should get some good pics. But then we'll put all our screens away so we can give you the real off-the-record answers, right? That's how you get the better answers, is we have no recording of this. Is that a good deal? Yeah. All right. So I hope everyone got their pictures of Ken's.
Hold on, can we just cheese it for a second? All right, take your pictures. You ready? Here we go. Okay, now it's a no screen zone. Do we agree? Are we down with that? Okay, all right. Let's do it. Does anybody want to start with just a first question, just to break the ice? Right, first hand up right there. I love that.
So I noticed in WWE and everywhere you go in wrestling that there's a thing called heat. It's where you're hated by the audience. How do you deal with that, being hated by the audience?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
How do you deal with being hated by the audience? Basically?
You know, it was something that I needed in order to keep my job. I mean, as a character, if you don't connect with the audience and they don't respond back to what you're doing, there's a problem. So the higher and the louder the crowd got made me feel good because I had a job the next week to come to. So but I loved it. I mean, it was love to hate me, and to know that, you know, I broke the speakers on the TV truck twice. You know, they would tell me, you know, please don't yell so loud to the mic, and I'm like, fix your speakers then.
Did that really happen?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
But I loved it. I love the hate that y'all gave me. So thank you.
Heat, guys, in the ring, you know, a lot of times when you're a good guy, a baby face, and, you know, they're supposed to be cheering you so that, you know, people go chatting Chavo, but then you always have those people in the front row that they do like going, you suck, you know, you'll never be as good as Eddie, you'll know all the different stuff. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I'm a good guy, you're supposed to like me. But it's much better, and Guerreros are notoriously heels because we're really good at getting people to hate us. And I'd much rather be hated than liked, because of the fact that I got the whole arena chanting Chavo sucks, except the 2 or 3 different people going, yeah, we like you, Chavo. And I can turn them really easy. I can say, yeah, your mom likes me too. At first they'll laugh, and they'll say, I'm not kidding. Tell her I want my underwear back. And all of a sudden, then like this guy start hating me too, and that's the best. When everybody hates you, there's nothing like it.
Lita, how do you feel? Do you prefer to be a baby face or a heel? Good girl, bad girl?
I mean, I'll just speak to both sides. Wrestling is a weird dynamic where we are acting, but when you go to the movies, when you watch somebody on TV, it's very clear that you're watching that. Whereas wrestling, the whole industry is like, oh, but I think that one was real. I think these two really don't like each other. You know, that's always that suspension of disbelief where you don't really know what's going on. So I think that can translate sometimes to, no, I really just hate her as a person, or I'm like, no, but like, how about just hate what I did in the ring, and then when you see me in the grocery store, don't be an asshole. So, well, yes, I liked getting the desired response, and it was fun to poke people's buttons as a heel. I did not like how that translated to being, people being mean to me in real life. That doesn't feel great.
Chavo, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
In the 90s and through the Attitude Era, and even up until today, the lines between baby faces and heels got blurred, especially during the Monday Night Wars. Has that made it, would you say that's made it more challenging to work and find character, or does it open up even more possibilities to work your character?
Guys, so back like, the 60s, 70s, 80s, there was always black and white. There was, the heel, the bad guy, and there was the babyface, the good guy. Then like the Attitude Era came around, and then traditionally what you used to have like, the heel like a Stone Cold, he would have been hated in the 70s and 80s, but they loved him in that Attitude Era, and the guys like John Cena, the white bread babyface, is now hated. It's like the roles have switched in a sense, but to me, I mean, it just the cream of the crop would come up to be up to, if you're. It gets you to get them to really hate you. I mean, in the Attitude Era, the WCW Monday Night Wars, you had the cool heels. You had the NWO. They were heels, but they weren't heels. They're cool. You liked their attitude. To me, I never liked that. I always if I was a heel, I wanted everybody to boo me. I wanted to fight my way out of the locker room. I mean, out of the arena back to the locker room, and then had to fight people in the parking lot. That's what heels are. To me, that's what it was really about. It was getting that heat and getting people to really hate you and lose that blurred line of who you are and what your character is. Because really, that character is just you see me on TV, that's just me magnified. It's still me, but it's kind of magnified, like how I really want to act, like walking down the street, but you can't, you'd be thrown in jail. But in the ring, I get to do that, so to me, I mean, I just think that the cream of the crop heels would rise to the top at that time.
Because it's almost, you almost have to be more complex of a heel, because just being a jerk isn't good enough.
Yeah,
anymore.
you had Eddie. Let's say Eddie. He was so good at getting heat, and he didn't have to do anything. They hated Eddie. Now, later in his career, they started loving him because of his character and his persona that came out, and you saw who he was. But if you guys remember in WCW, he was really one of the true heels. They hated him, and he could get more heat. Heat is that word that people could hate him more by him just like wrestling Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio would be selling on the ground, and he would just pick up Rey's head by the mask, and Rey would be like dead, like this, and all Eddie would do was stick his chest out and look at everybody, and he didn't do anything, and you hated him. He didn't have to, beat people up and hit them with chairs and all. He didn't have to do that. He just sat there with that attitude, and man, people just hated him. And I always remember watching that, going, God, he was so good at his job, So that's the heels I love.
That's a great question. Thank you for getting give him a hand. That was an awesome starting question. Who else wants to go? We will take Q&A as long as we have it. Right over here. She's a wrestler.
I just started wrestling 2 years ago. My question would be, what advice do you have for people getting their start in the business, especially like
So for me, I hated wrestling when I was dating Eddie. Yeah. The only reason that I dated Eddie was because I thought, oh, I can meet the Von Erichs and fall in love with them. But my respect grew for wrestling being the wife of Eddie, and with the family and the brothers and my father-in-law, like promoting the wrestling in El Paso. I started loving it and respecting it because that business fed our family. And so to be able to go into wrestling with Eddie and then to do it afterwards, my respect was already there. So I think that to get, make sure you're passionate and you love it for the good and the bad times. Because you're never gonna, you know, people think, oh, it's just full of fame and money and, you know, it's gonna be great. It's actually, it can be lonely and it can be hard because you're leaving your family home and you're with the family on the road most of the time. So I would make sure that you have a love for it and respect. That would be my advice.
I always tell people to, you know, most people get into wrestling because they're a fan of the industry, but you have to watch it like a student. And so you have to watch it differently from how you would as if you're a fan, because you have to dissect and go, why did they choose to do that? Why did they choose to put things in certain ways? So that's one thing that you can do just sitting at home. And then the other thing is to mouth shut, ears open, and know what questions to ask. And to me, because what always makes me want to share my knowledge is if people ask the right questions, and which shows me that they've been listening and kind of taking notes and progressing baby steps on their own. So I'm like, cool, now they're ready for the answer to this question. It's like only ask what you're ready to receive, because it's a process of steps.
Chavo, any advice?
What was the actual question?
Just any advice for a young wrestler, especially a female getting into the industry?
Okay, so they answered the female stuff probably, so I'll just say a young wrestler. You know what? Remember what we do in the ring. We tell stories. Is there any other wrestlers in here? Raise your hands. Yeah, okay, cool. You guys, we tell stories is what we do in the ring. But we tell the moves help tell the story, but the moves are not the story. The moves themselves would not be the story. So just think about it like a movie. The first time I saw, my kids wanted me to go see the first Transformers movie. So we saw it like it was like explosion. Like after 30 minutes of explosions, I was like, okay, now I get it. You can blow shit up, okay. But tell me, they make me care about these characters. I want to care about them. So Shia LaBeouf was there in one part of the movie, and his friend's dying, and like he's got sad music going on, still explosions in the background, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about this guy. So because you didn't let me care about him. But in wrestling, hold on, before I go that. So there was another movie I saw that back in the day my wife dragged me to, that was called Bridges of Madison County. Oh. And there wasn't one explosion. Not one. But at the end of the movie, when Clint Eastwood, it's raining, and he stopped at stoplight in his truck, and you see Meryl Streep and her husband, and you're just like, go get her, go, open that door and go run to her and go grab her. And he does it, and you're like, oh man, like it just happened. I felt I cared about the characters. I cared about them. They let me care about them. They told a story, so there was an explosion. So same thing in wrestling. It's the same thing. The moves are the explosions. They help tell the story, but they are not the story by themselves. You have to let the people get invested in your match. And by doing that, you have to tell them a story. Everybody's different the way they do it. Some people do it with their moves, some people do it with their size, some people do it with their looks, their body, whatever it is. Connect and find out what that is and learn how to tell a story in the ring and get the people invested in your match and give a shit about you. Let them, whether they hate you or whether they like you, but when they're quiet, that's when you have a problem. That's when you're like, they don't care, they don't want to boo you, they don't want to cheer you. Now they're not even invested in you. So that's what I loved, the fact when I'd have the whole arena, I'd have 10,000 people chanting, Chavo sucks, because they were invested in my match. When they're quiet, that's not good. So learn how to tell a story, young wrestlers.
That's a great answer. Thank you. All three of you. That was excellent. Next question. Anybody got one? Is it right over here in the back?
I was wondering, say you're handed something creatively that you're like, I'm not feeling it immediately. It's like,
So every single Monday night?
I was thinking like you were handed Kerwin wipes.
Right.
Something like that. It's something you're handed it, you're like, okay, I have a job to do. It's my job to make this work, but I'm not feeling it. What is your process for? Do you attack it? It's like, I'm gonna go full guns forward.
So
I'm going to listen to this answer because I was always terrible at what I should do. So I can tell you what you shouldn't do, but I'll see if you guys have any
I can't
advice.
wait for that.
So this is it. Basically, anybody who doesn't watch wrestling didn't know, there's a point where I had to denounce my Hispanic heritage and become a white guy. That was Kerwin White. And that process happened. I got off the plane from Japan, literally went to Raw, and Vince McMahon goes, how's it going, Kerwin? And he goes, oh. And I kind of was like, all right. So I didn't sell it. I was kind of like, I didn't register it. I basically was like, all right, what does that mean? And he goes, so today you're going to denounce your Hispanic heritage and we're going to make you a white guy. I have two choices. Vince McMahon personally came up with something for me. Whether I liked it or not, it's cool, because it didn't really matter if I liked it or not, but there's so many times that they're not coming up for stuff for you, because they're writing for John Cena, they're writing for The Undertaker, they're writing for Batista, they're writing for the top guys, because that's where their job, their money is. So anytime I got something, it's like, okay, it's crap, but you gotta make lemonade out of lemons sometimes. And if you look at the characters, sometimes your character's kind of like a movie character. So if someone's approaching me for a movie role to be a white guy, okay, no big deal. And that's kind of the way I looked at it in wrestling too. Would I have wanted to be something else? Yeah, sure. But I kind of took it and tried to do the best of my ability. And I told Vince, I go, look, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. I'm going to have the Hispanics hate me, but I'm going to have the Caucasians hate me too. And at the end of this, I go, this is a different time, of course. This is late, early 2000s. I was like, man, I want to end up like in a white hood. And he's like, wow, this is great. I love it. So I was trying to do as best as I can, but seriously, I wanted to get as racist as I could with it, to where everybody hated me. The whites hated me because I'm like, look, this is you. And they're like, that's not us. Oh, yes, it is. And the Hispanics hated me because I was like, no, I'm not you anymore. So that was my idea, the way I approached things. Would we have wanted something different? Would I have wanted to be in a WrestleMania main event against John Cena for the WWE Championship? Absolutely. But I didn't get it. I got this, so it's my choice. I either don't do it and, in a sense, fall out of favor with the company, or I kind of do it to the best of my ability and kind of see where it takes me. And that was what I did. How about you? What'd you do?
Lita, how should you not handle that situation?
I remember Jericho giving me some advice one day. He's like, if you're gonna go complain, or you got to be ready to lose your job over it, or walk out over it, because they're going to convince you to do it, and then so you're going to do it, and then you're going to have heat. So that was the story of my life, is I still did everything they wanted me to do, but I had heat, because I'd be like, this sucks, or I'm not into this, or how about we do this? And they're just like, nope, you're going to go do that. And I was like, cool, but now I'm labeled hard to work with, and still going out there and doing the best of what I can with what I was given that day.
Yeah, I think for me, I was in food fights. I did all kinds of ridiculous. I was in a hog pen fight.
With me.
I know. Sorry.
Hog pen match.
Yeah, that was horrible. But I had nothing to lose. I mean, my thought of accepting everything they gave me was to be 100% for the guys I was working with, because no matter how ridiculous, I wanted them to shine and to give them the best that I could, because being a heel, I come from matches, so my thought process is a little different from theirs, but it was just, I just want to do my best. So as ridiculous as it was, I had a lot of fun. Sometimes I went home going, God, I can't believe I said yes to that. But, you know, yeah, that's it.
Can I ask you really quickly, because we talked about this briefly before this panel, and since you're on that subject, your retirement match in WWE was, so on TV they made it seem like it was something way grosser than it probably was, but you had to wrestle in like this puddle of pudding or whatever it was. Was there, and you owned it, and you did a great job with that segment. Stephanie was great in it too, but was there anything at any point where you were like, I might have to complain about this? Because I have trouble. You seem like a very nice, like just kind of go with the flow kind of person, but I was just curious if there was anything that made you go, oh, really?
Actually, every time I had something dangerous to do, I always went to Chavo. When I got tombstoned by Undertaker, and when Rey Mysterio gave me the West Coast pop into the wheelchair, I always went to him. I'm like, do you think this is a good idea, or what am I gonna do? So yeah, it's.
So you guys were kind of.
I was always like, no, this is not a good idea.
but you should
get
still
you through it. I'll
right.
get you through it.
But at the same time, you know, when you said no, lose my job, and they would just, in a heartbeat, they'd probably let me go because they probably thought I was gonna be scared to do something. But I love the business so much, and I love pissing all of you off. I was like, yeah, let's do this.
That's great. Right up here in the front.
This is mostly for everybody, but Lita, like you were in the Attitude Era, you were in the Attitude Era. Like, did we ever like approach to do something? Did you ever get into? Did they ever ask you to do something where you were just like, no, absolutely not, I'm not doing that. Like did they ever ask something? Do they ever ask of you to do something where they definitely like kind of cross the line, like I'm not doing
Sure, but you saw it all on TV because I still works there.
And that's it.
Yeah, that was right. That was
Yeah.
when that one time with you and Edge. Woo! That shit can still be seen on Pornhub right now.
All I did for that was to call all of my friends and my parents and said, please do not watch it because I am absolutely horrified about what I've told, but I was told I will lose my job if I don't go out there and do this.
That's terrible.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah. That is. Does somebody have a question about something not terrible? I don't know if the guy in an eye patch is going to have a not terrible question, but I'll get you in the back in a second.
My question for Lita, how much of that stuff with Edge and Matt Hardy was true?
He said a not horrible question? Did you not hear that?
Get out. I'm just kidding.
Go Astros.
That was, yeah. We're not going to answer that one. In the back. Don't ask about Edge. Go ahead. Not Edge. Go ahead.
So Wrestlemania was what, last night or something like that? And
What was?
Triple Mania.
Triple Mania. Okay.
it's a AAA.
Yep.
So a lot of the King Glass guys had his first match yesterday. There was a few other great matches that include Hispanic talent. I just want to know if there's any, because Andrade is killing it on Raw right now, in my opinion. What up-and-coming Hispanic wrestlers should we look out for coming up?
So there's about 10,000 of them.
Yeah, we have Bray Phoenix.
There's a ton that are, what his question is, what new up-and-coming Hispanic wrestlers, Latino wrestlers, are basically should we look for? Right now in Mexico, there's a ton of them. Alberto Del Rio and myself started our own wrestling organization called Nacion Lucha Libre. And we got TV deal and everything, so it's gaining some definite popularity over there. But we have a lot of young talent. I'm not just talking about this organization, but a lot of young talent that no one had used yet. They hadn't been in AAA. They were just kind of like in the background. You know, they already hadn't been in CMLL. Those are the different wrestling organizations, by the way, in Mexico. And I'm like, how do they not know these guys? Where do they come from? You know, because there's so many out there. When I first started Lucha, when I was first involved in Lucha Underground, the first season, we got these guys. One guy was named Pentagon. Another guy was named Phoenix. Another guy was named Drago. Another guy was named Aerostar. And AAA was kind of like, these guys are okay. And I saw them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys are amazing. Why are they not using these guys? AAA wanted us to use like you know, like their main stars, like Blue Demon and different stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, these other guys are amazing. So we kind of gave them the opportunity a little bit, and their talent just totally rose out and, you know, rose above. But there's so many other guys like that out there. I mean, Bandito's a new guy that just came out, is doing stuff in Ring of Honor. He was already that good. They just didn't give him the chance. So he's taken off. I mean, there's a ton of them. Just keep watching. You see all these guys come out, and it's better, bigger, better than before. It's better than anything we did, you know, back in the day. So there's a lot of them coming out.
Can I double down? Which up-and-coming star would you like to work a match with? If you had to pick, you could pick any one of them right now.
Up-and-comer, gosh, dang. That's tough because when they're up-and-coming, they're just doing a lot of moves and don't really know why they're doing the moves. Like we were when we were up-and-coming, the same thing. You know, people that I like to have matches with are people that are kind of established a little bit, that have been other places, like, you know, program with like AJ Styles or something like that. That'd be great. I worked him a little bit in TNA, but never like a one-on-one program with him. Gosh, dang, there's a few other. Bandito for sure, got to do some stuff with. I don't know.
I didn't mean to like.
No, I ain't got to think about that, you know, but.
But I did, yeah.
Yeah,
I did it.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Chavo. Don't beat me up. Right here.
Okay, question here. I grew up watching wrestling in the 80s, like you said, black and white, Hulk Hogan, pieces of Roddy Piper, either good or pieces bad. In the 90s, pretty much the same, and in the 2000s, that's when the Attitude Era came in, and Razor Ramon and all those guys. Now, I could watch wrestling maybe 10 years ago because, to be honest, it sucks. I got.
You mean the current right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you guys, like I told myself, it's awesome flying off the top rope, it's awesome stuff. Whether it's good or bad, it didn't make a difference, but it was exciting. And Chavo was doing awesome stuff too. You guys made wrestling exciting, whether they were good or bad.
Vickie also did awesome stuff.
But the thing is like, now wrestling is like, crap, to be honest.
We hear you. We hear you. We hear it all the time.
What do you guys has happened? It's like, sure, the attitude era of the, racing stuff that happened like at 9 o'clock at night, finish Raw and Monday Night Nitro.
So you're just kind of like fantasy booking.
Yeah.
Like how would you make the product better?
Yeah, I tell you.
Yeah.
It's exciting, where you want to watch it. It's like, these guys that turn, that are good and they turn bad are really terrible at acting bad.
I'm going to paraphrase. He wants to know why WWE sucks right now. Go ahead, John.
Chip, you want me to take this first? You want to take it first? All right, so my opinion is basically WWE, a few things. WWE, they changed their television to very, very PG, so they're going, that's where the money's at. I don't blame them, but that's where the sponsors are at. That's where McDonald's and the Coca-Colas are at, as opposed to stuff with the Attitude Era, that stuff that we liked, So that's one reason, but another reason is that wrestling, the way you knew it, is kind of a lost art. It's a dying art. What's happening with a lot of these young guys, and nothing, it's just, wrestling changes for sure. But then again, we still tell stories. We still have to play on your emotions and pull on your heartstrings. But they have not learned to do that. They're learning to do moves, and this power slam is great, and this big boot in the corner is great, because it gets a pop. Oh, it gets a pop. But we don't work for pops for the people going, yeah. I work in the ring when people are sitting there and they're watching, and they're emotionally invested. That's what I'm working for. So it's kind of a lost art in the sense. So that's why I think your thing is that wrestling's, like WWE's kind of sucking in a sense. And if you're not a 10-year-old boy, some people don't like it too much anymore, but there's alternatives that are coming out that are more your style. AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan. You're starting to see like a resurgence in wrestling in a sense, and in wrestling, where you see when people wrestling and able to get in there and help hopefully tell a story, but that comes with age, you know. Experience in the business is where you learn how to do that. In the back of the day, you didn't get to WWE until you were at least 10 years in. That was where you start you were at the top of your career when you went to WWE. Now you almost start your career there. And these guys are 2 years in the business, 3 years in the business, or 1 year out of the NXT and they get moved up. It's an art form, and you cannot learn it in 2 years. I was born with a wrestling ring in my backyard, literally, 3rd generation pro wrestler. It took me, now I was wrestling about 300 days a year, and it took me about 5 years. So, we do the math, what's that, 3,000 matches? 3,000 matches? To learn, to actually feel like I knew what I was doing. Oh, like, okay, I got this a little bit. And then it took me another 5 years. You're 10 years in, no, 1,500 matches, so 3,000 matches. Really, it took me to actually get people like Ric Flair, Stone Cold go, hey, Chavo, great match, good job. 10 years in, and I'm a 3rd generation pro wrestler. That's how difficult this business is to pick up and to learn. So you got these guys 1 year in the business, 2 years in the business. It's impossible for them to be able to put you on that emotional roller coaster. That's why wrestling is sucking, in my opinion.
Thank you. Lita?
So like Chavo was saying, to learn the business, but the system they have now is they have people faking. They're playing pro wrestlers because they're going to school 5 days a week and then going to shows, practicing their rehearsed moves the other days. So they're playing wrestler and they're being told who they are. If I owned a wrestling company, you'd tell me who you are. I would help you and set you up for success to add layers onto your character and to help you make the best you. I'm not going to tell you who you are. And I feel like the people, because they are so young in the business, they're so influenced by these people around them, and all they want to do is get an A on their report card. And they're just not being allowed to be them, and they're so car washed by the time they get up to the main roster that it's just so they're like they're robots up there. If I owned a wrestling company, I want to see real. I want to see the cracks in the veneer. I want to see the gritty stuff and be able to relate to these people that I see, as opposed to just like this shiny version that somebody else has told who they are.
Yeah, that's really good. Something that Paul Heyman and Teddy Long always helped me realize that when I'm in the middle of the ring, it's only me and that mic. You have to listen to the crowd and convince them of what you want to say. So if you're trying to be angry and and I'm upset, you want them to have that look that comes back to me that I'm actually pissing them off. So when wrestlers and you see matches go on and they're boasting, you're just like, but no one's reacting to it. They're not listening to the crowd. And that's something that Eddie and Chavo used to call it in the ring. They say, let's just call it in the ring. And that was so important because Eddie always waited for the crowd. He wanted to see what kind of crowd it was going to be, what the reaction was going to be, because that's what he lived for. Was if I was going to piss him off, I wanted to wait till it was the right moment, then he was going to finish that move or whatever was going to happen. But listening to the crowd was really important. And today, they're just going through everything, and the girls that I see their promos, they're not listening to the crowd, so it's kind of irritating to watch it today.
Vickie, you brought me back. I was in a story. It was when Chyna and Eddie were working together, and it was me and S.A. Rios, and Eddie was right in that pocket of a tweener, right? Some towns they would love him, some towns they would still boo him, and he would do that thing every night where he'd kind of give him a little bit of himself and go, let's see what the people do. If they're booing from the jump, well, we'll just play it as it's supposed to be played. If they're cheering, I'll let them cheer, rope them in, clock them out, because we need them to boo me for whatever we're trying to get to. And that was that, like, learning and just knowing the business and being like, I would never be nervous out there with him, because I'm like, oh, he's got it. I'm just going to follow along with whatever he does.
Yeah. There was an episode on TV where Ronda Rousey went and did a promo. And she walked out and she thought the crowd was going to love her. They thought they were going to cheer. Well, it turned out that they turned on her and they were booing her. and she lost her promo, she lost her lines, and she looked lost out there. So I went on Twitter and just said, I just heard the most horrible promo. And so what I was trying to just communicate was that you're not listening to the crowd. You know what I mean? She didn't have the art of listening when they booed her or cheered for her. She didn't know how to reverse that promo to turn with the crowd and to get them back into the attention, to get them back into where she wanted them to be. So it's just really important, especially when you're the only person in a ring. It's just you and the crowd. What are you gonna do with it? So to the wrestlers, you have to really pay attention to what your crowd is saying out there.
And it's so easy like that, just like all, the first rule of improv, yes and. All she had to do is be like, yeah, you guys, I get it, I know, I came up here with a fat contract, believe me, it's right, I did this. But anyways, and then go right into her thing. It's like validate the people that are paying to see you and then carry on.
Yeah, and she even responded going, whatever. So,
oh yay? Oh no.
But and I'm not a wrestler. I'm not taking away her talent. I'm not taking anything that she does. But I do know promos, and that was my forte. And all I was saying was you just didn't know your crowd and you didn't know how to play up to it, so you stunk.
We in the ring, again to that lost art of wrestling or the dying art of wrestling, we are improv specialists is what we do in the ring.
Yep.
I have in my whatever 8,000 matches, I've never once had a perfect match. Ever. Every single match I have effed up in my match. So I'm a professional effer-upper because I cover it up. I mess up and you don't even know that I messed up anymore because I'm able to cover it up because I can improv out there. I can action and reaction is basically what our sport is. And that's like a dying art. What wrestlers are doing now is like, you hear them doing spots and calling it all in the back to where they're getting, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. But you don't know what the fans are going to do. Like, I always compare the fans to babies in a sense. To where a baby, not a baby like that, but babies, anybody who's got kids, babies are crying, but they don't know why they're crying. They're crying. It's for you to figure it out, right? They're either dirty or they're tired or they're hungry or they got a burp. You got to figure out why they're crying and then they'll stop crying. Fans are the same way. They want to be entertained, but they don't know what they want. Do they want wrestling? Do they want brawling? Do they want high flying? Do they want just to laugh? That's my job to figure out what you want. But if I'm in the back and going, okay, so I'm going to take 2 steps to the right, and then you're going to hit me, and then I'm going to come back. Well, then I don't know if that's going to work because I don't have a crystal ball. I can guess, but sometimes you guess wrong. So when I get in the ring, I like to I circle the ring because I'm feeling the crowd, I'm feeling the ring, just to see if there's any holes in the canvas. There's a whole bunch of stuff going in my head, but I'm feeling you guys out to see what you guys want. And there's nights that I look at the guy across the ring, I go, oh, this is going to be easy because you guys are just, you'll pop on anything I do. But there's nights that it's quiet and you can hear crickets out there. So I'm like, okay, I got to get you. I'm going to get you to react. That's my job. But it's for me to find out. And these young guys, they're not finding that out. They're just continually going on with their routine or their match or their high spots or whatever they've already called in the back. I always say, this is all subject to change. Anytime I'm getting ready to go in the ring, I might look at the other guy and go, this is 100% subject to change. Just because you're supposed to win doesn't mean you're going to win tonight. It's the truth. Or if I'm supposed to win, doesn't mean I'm going to win tonight because the match may not call for that.
Yes.
This is actually a question for Lita and Vickie. Who, it's like catching her right now, like, I don't know, like Becky Lynch or somebody like that. Is there anybody that you're
Just doing like super good work.
For me, I think a lot of girls are underutilized. They have the same girls on TV all the time. I love Ruby Riott. I think she's amazing. I don't think she gets the attention that she deserves. that's probably, you know, who I want to see have a chance, you know, to make something. I just get bored of the same people on TV all the time. And the other problem is too is that you see these people come through, the stars, they're there for 2 weeks and then you don't see them anymore. But there's just so many people they have on these shows that there's not enough time to put everybody on there and to make a good quality storyline. So, yeah.
I've been a fan and supporter of Becky Lynch for a long time. I was producing the women and was always advocating for her, and nobody in that office saw it. And I always did, and so I'm really happy to see her just going for it, and the office having no choice but to be like, yes, you are the man. My bad. I am wrong. So that's I like seeing that. And then as far as on the indies, I love the buzz that Priscilla Kelly has been getting, and I want to see more of her.
That's excellent. Anybody right here in the hat? Looks dapper. I love it.
You guys were out of action, for an injury. What motivated you guys to make that comeback? No matter how long you guys were out of action, what motivated you to come back so quick?
Money.
Mortgage.
Paid my bills.
Yeah, I mean, that's the short answer, but the real answer is I didn't know what else I would be doing. That's what I wanted to be doing. It forced me to get some perspective on life outside the ring, and that one day there would be life outside the ring, but that day wasn't right now, because I wanted to come back and just reinforce that I was where I was supposed to be, and I was doing what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah. I was never injured, but with Eddie, when he was injured, he got bored at home. He couldn't stand, maybe a good month, he was like, yeah, this is great, I don't have to go anywhere. But then after that second month, he was like, I'm done. He goes, I need to get back. So that's what motivated him to get back into shape and rehab.
What motivates us really to come back is just the love of the game, loving our job, getting out, wanting to get back in front of that limelight and practice our craft. Now as I'm getting older, that was definitely a younger side of me. Now I'm like, I'm cool, I'll stay home, I kind of did that, it's like back in the day, if I knew my body would heal and I'd be ready to go. Now as I'm getting older now, it's kind of like, oh man, you know what? I only got so much healing in me left. I kind of got to just chill out a little bit. So I'm not going to do this top rope hurricanrana through a table tonight. Back in the day, I'd be like, all right, let's do it. Because you're just getting, when you're a kid, you're invincible, and you get older now, you realize you kind of aren't. So now it's, but just like the answer to your question, just getting back was just, we loved what we did. And, there was somebody else that could have put in your spot. So get back to making money, get back to being on TV, and get back to doing what you love.
It's funny you said that. So people asked me, I broke my neck in 2002, and people asked me what that was like, and I said the thing that sucked the most is it took away my invincibility power. I was oblivious that I could get hurt or that things were dangerous or anything like that until that happened, and that's like it was a really valuable power to have. Have that as long as you can. It feels really nice.
We talk about that still in the stunt world. I also do some stunt work and stuff in Hollywood now, but we still talk about that actually, and I use that as an example because wrestling is so specialized that you have people in the stunt world thinking, oh yeah, well we can do that, I can do that, and then like, no you can't. Because this is what happens when you can't, because you worked with a stuntman that was supposed to base her, is it correct?
Yeah, and I was told that these sound like very specialized moves. We will make sure we have someone that can know how to handle them. And in our business, we know protocol. We know, I already know your move set. I know, but so I walked into a foreign environment where I was told we've got it taken care of, and so I walked through it. I said, but you're aware. Just let me know if you're not. We can start, back it up. No, I got it. And almost like in a way that I was like, I would be insulting them if I was like, okay, they're professionals, I'm on their turf, so they say they know, so I'm just gonna go through this, and for sure they did not, but when James Cameron is producing your television show, you tell him you can do whatever he wants you to do, so nobody was gonna say, no, I cannot do that.
And now as a stunt coordinator, you have good ones and you have bad ones. You have good teachers, bad teachers, good lawyers, bad lawyers. So as a stunt coordinator, that's my job, is to make sure my stunt people do not get hurt. So that's the stunt person's responsibility. Hers, of course, but and the other stuntman's, of course, but it's the stunt coordinator's responsibility. Should have made sure that 100% she was okay and to do this move or switch it.
At least like give me some help after I didn't.
Yeah, so that's who was your stunt coordinator?
Oh, I'm sure I've blocked that person's name from my mind. They are dead to me and
Not
have
good.
been for decades.
Captain America's shirt in the back there.
Real quick, was there ever any wrestler superstars in the locker room background that you just had a genuine dislike?
Oh, this is good. Close the door. I'm just kidding. Put those phones away.
In the ring with just throw it up the wall.
Oh, now we're fighting.
Here, I'll say that. So is there any wrestlers that we didn't like? So it's just like your jobs to where you have people that you work with, and there's people that that are your friends in the job. You have people that you just work with, and you have people you don't like. When wrestling was the same thing, the only difference is that we got them in the ring, and if we didn't like them, we would, really lay into them. We would, yeah, we would,
Snug.
But so there's people we didn't like, but that's what separates professionalism from not professionalism. Because I may not like you outside of that ring, but we get in that ring and we give you all your money is what you paid for. Because you didn't pay to go see a street fight, you paid to see a wrestling match. That's our jobs. This real quick story is by the Guerrero brothers. My dad, my Uncle Hector, my Uncle Mondo were wrestling in Mexico, and they were supposed to wrestle these other three guys. Well, they were pissed off at them. They had started fighting in the locker room, like literally fighting in the locker room. The promoter came and goes, "Guys, stop fighting, you guys are up." They all went to the ring and had a great match in the ring, professionalism, came in the back and continued fighting. But that's professionalism because that's not what you guys paid for. You didn't pay for a UFC fight. You paid for a pro wrestling match. Can you imagine going to see a UFC fight and all of a sudden a pro wrestling match broke out? You'd be like, this is not what we paid for. You know what I'm saying? So you're paying for that roller coaster ride. You're not paying for a boring,
Tie someone up.
yeah, exactly, a move for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say the same thing. Yeah, of course. Someone comes to mind, but it would never be some. They're not alive. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
Post mortem. I'm
we
not
don't
gonna
bury the
trash
dead.
them.
We don't bury the dead.
But yeah, it would never occur to me to take that into the ring should I have been physical with that person because it's two separate things.
Yeah, there's people that you get along with, but you still say good morning, you shake their hand, you thank them for what you worked with them with, and you just keep on going because it's just about respect. And the first is respect. And all personal feelings aside, you still have to just work with them, and you want them on your side when you're in the ring, But yeah, it's just still say good morning and thank you for today, and you walk and go your separate ways.
Well, it's like Chavo was saying with people at work, and you might not like them, but you're not gonna not hand the file to them, because that's how the chain needs to go. You just limit your interactions with them and do your job.
In closing, we've hit our time. Let's start down there at the end. Lita, plug your stuff. Where can people find you? What are you up to?
No, I'm just off grid.
Okay,
I'm not gonna come here. That's why.
No one contact Lita.
Do not contact
She's living the dream. That's the dream right there.
If you guys did not get your question answered, we as you can tell, we could do this all day. We'll be back at our tables after this, so just come over and say hi to us, and we'll answer your question personally. So thanks for taking your time and coming here this weekend to hang out with us. We really appreciate all these years too removed from your TV screens and to still come out here. It means a lot to us. So thank you very much.
Chavo, what are you up to?
For me, I do a little show called Glow on Netflix. Season 3 starts August 9th. Watch for that. So I'm going to hopefully go back for season 4 for that. Like I said, I got this organization I started in Mexico called Nación Lucha Libre. I have my own beer out, Los Guerreros Lager. You can get that at craftbeerkings.com. Look at me plugging all this stuff. Right? So I'm kind of just out there, just hustling in entertainment, in wrestling, or in Hollywood. I guess you kind of have to hustle to make it. You got to be a jack of all trades. You you know, just a man, an actor, producer, whatever. So it's kind of like in life, it's the same thing. Just I always try to find my passions and turn them into a job, so that's not a job. So I kind of learned to do that later in life, and that's kind of what I do. You know, I could go on and on, but that's my thing. I try not to have a real job ever. So I've been doing it for a while. That's kind of I'm trying to keep that and not have a real job and still pay bills. So that's me. Follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, Chavo Guerrero Jr. You can kind of see everything.
In 3 weeks, I graduated with my bachelor's in healthcare administration. I told Corey earlier, I will never buy another damn notebook in my life, ever. And I'm writing my autobiography with life before and after Eddie, so that's been really good for me, you know, emotionally to talk about Eddie. And I work with the Humane Houston SPCA, so I adopt, don't shop.
Yes. Thank you guys very much. Enjoy the rest of StocktonCon and come see our guests upstairs. I'm Corey. Take care.